Welcome to the Rise Above Your Challenges show with Patricia Joe Grover. This is where we rise above our challenges and turn believers into achievers. And today, my guest is Susan Kathleen. Hello, Susan.
Hello, Patty. It's wonderful to be here with you on this fantastic podcast. I love listening to it.
Wonderful. Well, so glad to have you with us. And let me tell the viewers and listeners a little bit about you. Okay.
Go ahead.
All right. Well, Susan Kathleen has over 40 years of experience in numerous holistic practices. She is a transformational speaker, a podcast host, a certified life mastery consultant, meditation and mindfulness coach, hypnosis practitioner, and a Reiki master. Susan formerly trained as an educator, and she has worked with royal families and palaces to the poorest children in African villages. She's an international speaker, teacher, intuitive healer, and transformational life coach, where she encourages people from all over. And her best-selling book, Who's Afraid of the Big Bad Wolf, was written off the back of her understanding as she was an enabler by staying in a marriage for more than 30 years to a man who had total control over her. It's only after he passed away that she discovered that she had many parts of her life from her that set her into a path of self-discovery, empowerment, and success once she learned the art of forgiveness and unconditional love. Well, that is something else, Susan. That's a story to share with us, So fantastic. And I know it is a journey. It has been a journey for you.
It certainly has, Patty. And I'd like to be able to share with your listeners and obviously with you that when you come to a self-realization that nothing can change the past, and that living in the present and living in the actual now is all that you really need to fulfill any form of self-satisfaction, self-love, and to start realizing that you have this incredible time on earth to live your dreams into reality.
Yes, and that ties so true to my heart and what I do and teach, Susan. So it is a great connection that you and I have made through our connection of how we've gotten to meet each other and get to communicate with each other. So fantastic. So can you tell me, Susan, what type of a coach are you?
About 20 years ago, I actually trained in NLP, kinesiology, Touch for Health. And I am a formally trained educator as well. I work mainly with children with dyslexia and Asperger's and primary education. And so I put that to one side and continued with being a professional educational consultant for 30 years. And after my husband died, I felt I was at an age, I was 60, I was at an age where I thought, I don't want to do this anymore. I absolutely have loved that part of my life. But what I want to be able to do is go and serve people in a different way. And that is as a life coach. And I searched and searched. I didn't want to do the NLP type coaching or anything else like that. I was very keen to use intuition and a more heart-centered way of dealing with people, and to be able to pull out what's inside a person already. And I actually was very fortunate. I started to understand, I've always believed in the law of attraction and things like that. And I wanted to be able to study quantum and metaphysics. And I discovered the largest transformational coaching company in the world, which is the Brave Thinking Masters. At the time when I actually signed on and trained, it was known as the Life Mastery college. I then realized my now mentor, Mary Morrissey, was this incredible woman who'd had a journey in her life very similar to mine, even from when I was a young girl. And I just warmed towards this incredible coaching company. And I trained with them. They're based in Los Angeles. I trained with them for 12 months. And it is a really, it's an incredible training, but you've got to be really dedicated to get through the process of 12 months. And you've got to be prepared to travel there twice a year and all of that sort of thing. So I certified in, it was January 2018. And I've been working as a transformational speaker and a transformational life coach since then. And what it basically is, using quantum metaphysics, which you totally understand,
right?
Because you believe in living your dreams into reality. And that is what it is, where you create a blueprint, you live that blueprint into reality, and in all 4 areas of your life, which are love and relationship, time and money freedom, health and wellness, and what's the other one? Another one. Oh, vocation. Hello, I'm here. This is my vocation. And for everybody, vocation, some people will say, "What the heck is that?" It's your calling. It's the job that you want to be able to wake up every morning and you think, "I am so glad I'm going to go and do this." So that's basically how it came about. And I've helped numerous people, and I've given talks in different countries on dream building and on how to realize your life, and life mastery as well, which of course is understanding quantum and metaphysics, because we are all energy, Patty.
Yeah, I know it is, and it's an amazing thing.
Yeah.
And it's so exciting. It really, really is. So let me ask you though, so Susan, what inspired you to then write your book?
Well, it's actually very interesting.
Or was the book before? That's
no, absolutely okay. No, it wasn't. And this is interesting. So when I'd done my final certification, and I was in LA, and I was there for 10 days, and I'd sort of qualified through the Dream Builder program, and then I had to qualify through the and prove that I had the ability to be able to teach the other programs that Brave Thinking Masters teach us to coach. And in amongst that time, we had to sit down and write our own vision, our own vision blueprint, I call it, and it's called Dream Building. And in there, I put, I would like to write a bestseller and project it towards within 2 years. And it would be a self-help book using my own experience. Now, about 20 years ago, I qualified in journalism as a journalist. And so I've always been writing and blogging, and I'm quite well known as an international poet as well. I've had quite a few of my poems with awards and things like that. So it was a natural thing. I thought, well, great, this is what I'm going to do. And do you know what, Patty?
What?
I sat down and I wrote this book. It was basically about understanding narcissism. Now, people use this word narcissism
right
so easily now. They throw it out and say, "Oh, he or she, they're narcissists. They were horrible." And meanwhile, it's just a breakup of a relationship or something. But a narcissist, and we've spoken about this before as well, Patty, is clinically not a well person. They're psychopaths, that sort of thing. So I said to myself, well, okay, give me 2 years. I'll do that, and I'll attach a program to it as well, a little 5-week program that'll help people, like it helped me get over things that happened to me in my life. And I wrote it, and within 2 months of me writing it, it became a bestseller, much to my surprise. Yeah.
Fantastic.
And I'd only written it because I was going to give it away as a freebie at my my public speaking talks and my workshops and my webinars and things like that. And suddenly it's a big book. It's a little book, and it became a bestseller.
There you go. But
And then
sometimes those little books are packed with all kinds of wonderful knowledge and experiences that empower, educate, and really help people,
yeah,
encourage them to
they
make
do.
changes in their lives. Wonderful.
Yeah, I've had people come back to me and write, people who've bought the book and come back to me and say, "Oh, you know what, Susan? I now understand myself." And when in writing that book, it was self-discovery for myself as well. Basically, I had learned through training as a transformational coach and speaker how first to love yourself, to not beat yourself up about anything else that's happened, and to be true to yourself, where you can say, okay, so I'm an empath. Yeah, I've been an enabler for years and years because I just wanted to fix people, and I can't. They've got to fix themselves. And so I wrote this little program as well. It's called Right to Get Right. And basically what it is just journaling. It is the best self-healing medicine that you can have for anything else. You don't have to pay for anything. You sit and journal and you go into self-discovery. And of course, you learn how to meditate as well.
Yes.
Because that's important.
Exactly. Fantastic. And I agree so wholeheartedly. I use journaling prompts with clients and everything because it does help them to dig deep within themselves to be able to get to, because what I do as a goal achievement strategist, I help people get from where they are to where they want to be. But sometimes there's a lot of digging that has to be done there because for people to really find out where they are. So
It sure is.
yes. So let's go on. So what is your passion to inspire people, Susan? What is it?
In January 2019, I went across to Auckland in New Zealand, and then I went on to see a really good fellow life mastery consultant coach that I'd trained with in LA, in a place called Hawke's Bay. He lives on a farm, and he's a tetraplegic. He can't move from his head down. He was playing rugby. You call it American football, and had an accident. But he's one of the bravest men I know. I adore this man. And I went to go and spend time with him and his lovely wife and beautiful children. And in this time, he was invited by an incredible guy, a Maori guy by the name of Rob Makaroka. And he's very well known for suicide prevention and helping with that because he has a story of his own where it's an incredible story. So he's created this movement called Shot Bro, and people are invited to go speaking at his shows. And Wayne and I went along, and we had this. He was basically the speaker. I went along there to push his wheelchair and boss him up. So if you're listening to this, Wayne, you know, here I am again. Anyway, what happened was I saw this incredible Maori tradition where after this whole thing, they all got together and they gathered together in a circle. And as you do when you're a healer or anything else like that, and they had a talking time where they talked to each other, and there was a sort of feeling of calm. There was a feeling of sadness when the talks were happening, and then this feeling of calm. And I looked around at this room, and the majority of those people were men. And they'd all suffered either trying to take their lives or somebody in their life dear to them had died. And from then, the universe did send to me people who'd been going through this extreme adversity, depression and sadness. So my passion is when I'm working with people is to help them through anxiety, stress, and being able to help them change from adversity into positivity. And that is using my training as a life mastery consultant, where they learn to create this incredible vision, and that there's nothing wrong with them. They, no matter what's happened, and that they can change that and change their lives in so doing the program. So that's my passion.
Fantastic. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. And that can be, that's a very dire situation when somebody's talking about taking their own life or feeling
Yeah.
like it's not worth living anymore. Well, right now, with what we've had globally going on with the pandemic, and people have lost so much of themselves because they may have lost a career or something that they have done and don't know
Absolutely.
anything else. So it falls into everyday life for people right now.
Patty, you're so right, because the more people I speak to, and of course, this time last year we were all jolly ho ho and saying, oh, it'll pass, it's going to 3 months, it'll be fine. It's just like the bird flu and those, well, bat flu now, but obviously it's progress through. And like you say, it becomes a situation where people have lost jobs. They're basically in solitary confinement. They can't go outdoors. They've got to wear these horrible claustrophobic masks. It really does create extreme anxiety and depression.
Right. It affects people on so many different levels, emotionally, physically, spiritually, mentally, all aspects. So it's and what I say is we need to really just focus on what we can have control over. And when I work with clients and everything, it's what do we as individuals have control over. That's how that we are feeling and seeing everything, focusing on what we have control over and what we can change, and focus on our own future and trying to make everything the best possible for ourselves. For even whatever you have control over, that's what you work with.
Absolutely.
And don't get overwhelmed. Don't get this negative stuff bombarding us. Don't let that, just keep focused. Keep focused on this here and not on the outside. And you'll make change and you'll make progress.
I love what you say. This is something that I say to people who I discuss this situation that you've actually very clearly spoken about here, is when you say focus on one thing, it takes your mind from that fight or flight as well, and where one certain thing that is going to get you through something that's going to get you a reward. I think a lot of people in this year have realized that what they're born with, their creativity, is something that they can actually use to be able to support themselves. So I don't know about you, Patty, but a lot of people that I've encountered, that I know, that I've worked with, that socially as well, socially on Zoom.
Yes.
Anyway, a lot of them have suddenly said, I'm painting again, or I'm sewing again. Okay, they're sewing a lot of face masks and making a bit of money on the sideline, but they've suddenly started to revert back to what they loved, like growing vegetables and making pickles and jams and things like that. And I think this is great, because we are actually going back to the time before we'd actually been turned into lemmings with advertising and everything else, that you must do this. You have to have this latest gadget. You've got to go and do such and such. People are now realizing their worth and what is important for their mental health.
Right. Exactly. And that is, sometimes it is taking those steps back and reevaluate what is important. And this is where I get into, Susan, that I teach my clients to know and find out for yourself what is your definition of wealth. And because it's different for everyone, and what is and not just in your personal professional life, but your personal life, because you can have a wealth of relationships, not just a
Absolutely.
finance. What is your definition, your personal definition of success? You have to have that for yourself. Don't be comparing yourself to other people, and
Oh,
stepping
yeah.
back to do that. So
Because we're all unique. Why would we want to compare ourselves with anybody?
right,
We
right,
are who we are. We
exactly.
can't be somebody else.
Exactly. So Susan, what type of clients do you like to work with?
I love working with people who have they come to me and they're like, I always think of them like birds with a broken wing. And very often they really do not have direction at all. And what I love to be able to do with my first session, which is generally, obviously, I have a strategy session, which is free. But then my next session is a 3 hour session. And generally, in that time, I use a combination of um, the quantum field where you're learning how to project your whatever it is you truly love, and also using mind mapping. So mind mapping actually helps a lot of my clients um, who can't fathom how to dream.
Right,
So
exactly.
that's sort of getting it physically down where they can actually mind map and create. Basically, we start off with a center circle with a goal, and then from there I usually do 5 leader um, lines with the circles, and we create from there each section that in life
Mm-hmm.
that's important to them. And what I do is I use a lot of intuitive coaching and basically pull out from them what is within inside them onto paper for them. And it's incredible. I mean, I know you've got a similar
Yes.
coaching a program that you do, and I love that you do. That's why I get on so well with you, because you
Yeah.
think like me.
Yeah, we're in each other's heads because again, we
Yeah.
do so much similar.
But but what they do afterwards, after sometimes it's 2 hours, sometimes it's 3 hours. It's exhausting for them and for me. But after that period of time, they'll look at me and they'll say to me, I didn't even know that I wanted to do this. How did I do this? And it's all it you signed in the Akashic records before you are born. You sign a contract with universe, and you basically say, well, this is what I'm going to go and do. It's up to you how you progress. And when I do timeline therapy and I see that person is actually in a course of time have been indoctrinated from childhood into
Right.
thinking what they can and can't do. And then they go and do this and they say, but I've done this all my life and da 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 da, and I can't understand how I could just figure this out in 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah.
I say, because it's there inside you.
Right, exactly. And that's the thing. We don't give our mind and our brain the appreciation that we really should for the the mastery and that it has. It's unbelievable.
Absolutely. It is so incredible. And it's
Yes.
so exciting when you find out. You sort of think, whoa, I'm a human and I'm just having this human experience. But hey, you know what? What's inside me, this energy, it's eternal. I can
Mm-hmm.
go do whatever I like. There
Yeah,
you are.
it is. It's fantastic. So let me ask you, Susan. So what is the future projection that you have for 2020 into 2021?
Patty, in my mind, and what I've observed worldwide, politically, in every country, everybody's got somebody from in their country that they're shaking their heads at, is that COVID has actually done us a favor. It's made us in 2020 sit back, reflect, listen, not be too busy trying to get to work, back from work, feed the kids, get them to school, be football moms, all of these sort of things. We've slowed down and we've started to listen, and we've started very intelligently, every single person in this world, to say, I don't know if I have to be a lemming any longer. I don't know if I have to allow myself to be led by the nose into doing certain things I don't want to do. So we worldwide, and this may sound a bit woo-woo, but I don't think it is. It was woo-woo to people the beginning of 2020. It's not so woo-woo to them now, is that we have a right as humans, in humanity, to live our best lives, to slow down. We do not have to work as hard as we thought we did to be able to be productive and spend more time with our family and friends, and understand that life is really for living, not through getting through each and every day to be able to survive.
Right.
So my projection towards the end of this year is we're going to see things in a very different way. We're going to have a different form of finance. Look at digital currency, how it's moving. People are looking at that more than their faith in the banks and stocks and shares and things like that. We are changing our mindset on that. We are working towards becoming entrepreneurs. Many people, look at you and I, we are on a podcast.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And we're getting our word out that way. Whereas before we went and spoke on stages, we can't
Right.
at the moment.
Right.
The people are starting to reset and rethink and finding out, well, I don't, mind you, I miss it, but I don't have to get on a ship or a plane to travel to this country to do it. I can do it online.
Mm-hmm.
It's, I'm a touchy-feely person. I believe in being able to communicate with people and give them a hug.
Right.
But
Right.
we're not allowed to do it at the moment. But I just believe that every one of us has a different way of dealing with life. And we have a different concept about our world, about the environment, about the way things go, about the quality time we spend with our family, our kids, our grandkids. So we're almost reverting back to pre-World War II, where we have these also family units, where you have the elders, you have the sort of the kids, or I call them kids, the young adults, and then we've got the grandchildren, and we all have these units where we actually are closer. And we're also going back to the land. Every person I speak to wants to grow something. It's quite interesting.
Mm-hmm. Right. Right.
And health, sport, things
Right.
like that.
Right, exactly. And I'm hearing a lot of that too, Susan. A lot of people are getting back to really starting to have their own gardens and growing their own fruits and vegetables at home. And, because they don't, as far as getting out to the stores or afraid that stuff won't be able to get shipped to the stores and into the stores so that they can feed their families. So,
absolutely.
yeah. And I think those are all wonderful, wonderful things. And that helps us get connected to the earth as well as to our families and ourselves ultimately. And the more connected that we can be to ourselves, the better that we are going to be able to give to the world.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I mean, we become more grounded. We have time to take our shoes off and feel Mama Gaia's energy coming up through
just through the world. That's fantastic.
Fantastic. And again, we've got these schemes. I see them
You see the different things going on in the world.
There's some stuff that's going on that's really weird, and politically we look at it
Right.
and all of this, and hey, you know what? They can get on with it. I'm busy wanting to help people and myself be the person that we're meant to be, and change the world that way.
Exactly. Oh, so wonderful. So Susan, what do you have any gifts for our viewers and listeners?
I do. If you would like to go to my website, which is www.susankathleen.com, you can book a free strategy session with me. It's 45 minutes. And I'm very happy to, sometimes I go over 45 minutes. I'm very happy to kickstart a person's life into understanding just how powerful they truly are. Because you are all powerful out there.
Yes, wonderful.
I know.
And I totally agree. So thank you for that, Susan, and we'll be sure to put that in the comments below also. So for anyone who would like to find out more about me, you can go to patriciajogrover.com. And I have gifts for all the viewers and listeners. If you text the word GOAL, GOAL, to 26786, you can go there and get your gifts. And so thanks again so much for being with me, Susan Kathleen. So we have now, this has been the Rise Above show with Patricia Jo Grover, where we rise above our challenges and turn believers into achievers. Thanks for being with me, and we'll see you next time.